How do you want to start
Yeah.
first of all?
Oh, it's started.
Oh, you already started recording.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. Like this is it. So you know.
Okay.
Um, cool. So Apple event just happened. How are
Yes.
we feeling? Give me your general take.
Uh,
The whole thing.
it was an all right event. I've seen
Yeah.
better, I would say, from Apple. Um,
Yeah.
what
Do
were
you
your
think oh sorry, go ahead.
what were your thoughts around it?
Yeah. Think pretty standard for the past like few iterations of this. Like I think they've got the formula for um the online events because it's obviously pre-recorded, right? Like they're not doing it live.
Yep.
Their transitions are too good. um it's yeah, but like obviously I don't think it's anything too special.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think last Apple event was more special because of how much iPhone had changed. But
Mm,
with this one, it was just the same design, same sort of a concept. Um, there were just minor changes around things. Um,
yeah.
I think the transition definitely makes it better. I think this kind of event suits them more than the
Yeah.
other live events that they used to do. And
Mm,
I would say they should continue even after this whole COVID situation ends. They should continue
yeah.
with it.
Okay.
Def-
So no more people,
nah.
no more fake fans in the crowd pay
Yeah,
to
exactly. I don't know what they used to do, yeah, but the fans used to go crazy in the crowd. Like
yeah.
I've never seen that in any event. What do
Yeah.
they do?
I
Do
don't
they
know, man.
do they pay
I,
like actors and stuff?
Maybe they're just really hyped about Apple and they're just like, oh man, I really love Tim Cook, you
Oh
know?
my God.
And how does how does do you think Tim Cook has done a good job? Like the Apple events with Steve Jobs used to be
Oh,
very Steve Jobs focused and his kind of like charisma ran the show. So
I actually used to prefer the Steve Jobs ones than the Tim Cook ones. Uh,
yeah, I don't think everyone did what
yeah,
everyone does.
100%,
Uh,
100%. I think in terms of company, the way companies run, right? I
mm,
think Tim Cook is still running off the success of Steve Jobs back. So whatever he had done right, whatever he had
mm,
initially built in, that's what he's running off. What kind of new products have we had since passing away of Steve Jobs? The only new
mm,
product that we had was the Apple Watch, which has been
yeah.
kind of successful, but
Mm,
I think everything pre Tim Cook, right? That has been so successful that it's still running. Like it's that sort of made the base of what Apple is selling out right now.
yeah. I feel like he's definitely taken a back seat in the um in the whole event. Like it's not the event used to be okay, we've got Steve Jobs, he's just gonna run the whole show and he's gonna do his demos and it's great. Like we don't have to do any work. But now it's like this whole production.
Yeah,
They've got amazing videos, all the ads in it. There's a lot
yeah.
of effort put into that. Whereas Steve would just come on with an iPhone and be like, this works, this is better than everyone else, check this out.
Do you remember the Johnny Ive videos
Oh,
before?
I miss those so much.
Oh, I know,
I
right?
miss those so much. Those are so good. I wonder where he is. I hope he's well.
I
Ah,
think he's started his own design company, so I think Apple
okay.
does consult him,
Mm,
but he's just not working for Apple anymore. Uh,
okay.
which
Yeah.
I think is a
Yeah.
smarter move. But
Yeah.
I miss Johnny. I definitely
What a
miss him.
legend. What
Yeah.
a legend. I love all the like parody like videos on YouTube of
Oh my
him.
God, amazing! We need to bring that back on YouTube.
We
It's just not there anymore. Like I don't see those
yeah.
parody videos anymore.
Mm,
They used to be amazing, amazing.
yeah.
That
I
was
think
definitely.
there was a time when everyone was trying to be well, everyone still does kind of want to be Apple, but like everyone was trying to copy that style of like this guy talking about design. So like He
Yeah.
loves it so much, and this is his thing. But yeah,
Yep.
I think. How do you think Apple events compare in general to
I
other
just, uh,
companies?
I think it's still there's still a lot of hype compared to other companies. So
Mm,
we something like Samsung event, right? We wouldn't sit down, we wouldn't wake up early morning, 3 o'clock, watch the event. That's just not happening. Let's be
uh,
honest, yeah. I think
yeah.
the hype compared to Apple, right? What would be the closest one? Would be the gaming events, maybe like the E3
Mm,
events or
yeah.
the PlayStation events. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
has a lot of hype,
Yeah.
but I think it's also based off the fanboys or
Mm,
fangirls.
yeah.
uh, it's just one of those things, right? Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
fans that run these kind of shows.
What about Google? Google event? Would you wake up for that? There's one next month.
Ooh. I would wake up for Google I/O. I don't know if I would wake up
Yeah.
for the other Google event because they only have
Mm,
Pixel in their lineup.
mm,
Not interested in their whole different side of like the tablet side of things. Don't care about their Chrome OS side
yeah.
of things.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Um.
not there yet, I would say.
Yeah.
Like unless they start releasing other stuff, like a new Google Watch, right? Which is
Yeah.
something that seems like that is plausible, but don't know
Hmm.
if it's gonna come out as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I wouldn't watch a Google event unless
Ah.
it's more new products that are about to
Yeah.
be released. Yeah.
I'm thinking about what you said about the Apple Watch being the only kind of new. I guess they had AirPods as well, which I
Mm,
was expecting in this event, but there was no AirPods.
no
Like they switched.
AirPods.
Like when they got to iPhone, I was like, oh man, no new AirPods. I was so sure.
Yeah, they're
Um,
not gonna have an
mhm.
October event as well, by the looks of it. Um,
Yeah, you think this is it for the year?
yeah, because October events were usually the iPad event.
And they had iPad in this
They
one.
had iPad in this one, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're gonna have an October event. This might be it for the year.
Ah,
Or they might
interesting.
have like one in December or January
Mm,
for
yeah.
the Mac, but I
Yeah.
think that would be it. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. I wanted them at the AirPods. It's
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. Uh,
Um,
what was your favorite announcement today?
favorite announcement? I don't know actually. There wasn't nothing really stood out to me. I was looking forward to the watch. Um,
Yeah, I
I
thought
have I
that they
have my
would.
most disappointing one, but you give me your favorite first.
I would say iPad Mini.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
that was
that
good.
had the most drastic change, and I can actually see a
Mm,
use case out of that one.
mm,
I think the redesign looks really modern, and I think that's where they should have shifted with the other products as well. So I don't know
yeah,
what is up with the iPad. I don't know
yeah.
what is their
That
lineup.
was my most disappointing
It's
thing. The
like
iPad. It's
it's
just the
so
old iPad, and it looks like it's out of
yeah,
2016.
yeah, and
It.
they're using A13 Bionic as well, which is 2 years old
Yeah,
now. A15 Bionic was the one that
yeah.
they released today for iPhones, right?
Mm, yeah.
But they're using A13 Bionic, which is really old. I understand it's like 329, it's really cheap, right? It's supposed to be
Mm,
the cheap iPad. But what is this lineup? Like the naming conventions don't make sense to me.
yeah,
So we have the iPad, then we have the iPad Mini, iPad Air, and iPad Pro.
yeah.
Surprisingly, iPad Air is better than iPad.
It's so much better than iPad. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
it makes zero sense. Like their naming conventions are is another topic, which is just
Yeah.
like, what are they doing with the naming conventions?
Well, I guess in the Mac they have the MacBook and they have the MacBook Air, and I
Yep.
think the MacBook Air probably has better specs
Didn't they
than the
discontinue
MacBook.
MacBook though?
MacBook Air or MacBook or both.
MacBook, just the MacBook.
Oh, so they did it for like 2 years and that was it.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
when Air came out, the new Air came out,
Mm,
right? They sort of
yeah.
discontinued the other one, and they
Uh,
did Air. They're just doing Air and Pro now.
yeah. Um, Yeah, well, that wasn't making sense anyway, so I don't mind that they removed that.
Yeah.
But with the iPad, I feel like they just they have their, manufacturing process, and they're like, we want to keep producing the same shell
Yeah.
and see how much money we can get from it.
The thing with iPad is, right, a lot of business comes from iPad because they don't
Mm.
quite have competitors with iPad. So they can
Oh yeah,
literally put
100%.
out
Yeah,
anything, right, and
yeah.
it will go. And iPad are being used by schools, so pretty much all kids nowadays.
Mm.
It's being used by businesses. So be it construction, be it any sort of business at this point, right? Any on-site business, they're using iPads. Uh,
Yeah.
so I think iPads, they're just earning through businesses, so that's why they're releasing the cheapest iPad possible.
Yeah, yeah. That makes
Uh,
sense.
but
I wonder
it's
how because another thing where they were using basically like an old shell was the iPhone SE last year.
mm,
And I'd be surprised if many people bought that because I haven't seen anyone with that phone.
yeah, I haven't seen that in a while, especially with the iPhone 12 mini that came out, right? People were
Yeah.
rather buying that than buying an
Mm.
SE.
Yeah.
Um, I was also surprised to see iPhone 13 mini, considering how
Yeah.
bad the sales were for iPhone 12 mini.
Sales were bad for 12 mini.
It was really, really
Ah,
bad. So they had so many iPhone 12 mini manufactured. They had to completely
mm,
stop the manufacturing because they had too much stock.
really?
Yeah, and there
Oh,
were
wow.
rumors that iPhone 13 mini is not happening again.
Mm,
But seeing
yeah.
they went through,
Yeah.
which
Interesting.
was surprising, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
they should stop the SE. I don't know if they're still putting out the SEs, but they should
I
just
think they
stop.
showed it, well, they showed it on the final lineup.
Yeah.
So it's still available from Apple, but I'd be interested in the numbers for that because I'd be very surprised if
So
they
I have an
hadn't.
iPhone SE, right? The second generation one, the
Oh,
second or
you do?
third. Yeah, it's for work. I have
Oh,
a work phone as well, right? So
yeah. You're the
battery
only person
life,
I know with this phone.
yeah. No, I only use it for work.
Yeah.
That's the old purpose. So with this one, right, the battery life is so bad.
Mm,
It's so disappointing. Like I don't use it. I barely use it, right? So I'll only use to pick up work-related calls or if there's work-related message that comes through.
yeah.
And I think within the day it just dies off. I don't do
Mm,
anything with it, and it
and it's
just dies
still,
off. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think they should just let that one go. They
yeah,
should let that
I
one
think
go.
it's time. I think the reason why they're putting out again is for businesses, because
Yeah.
most of the businesses, when they're giving out phones to their employees, right, they're looking for the cheapest available option from
Mm,
Apple. They
yeah.
would go for iPhone SE. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing there's a market somewhere for it, but yeah.
yeah, no, definitely, definitely.
Um, what was there anything you were looking forward to before the event?
I thought with the Apple Watch, right, there's
Mm,
gonna be a whole redesign, and
yeah.
there was a bit of redesign. Not gonna lie,
Mm,
right? They did change the size of the screen. They made it
yeah.
bigger. Sure, it was looking good, right? But I thought that they would go with the similar design aspect as the iPhones, as the iPads, the new iPads,
Mm,
the
yeah.
squarish sort of boxy
Yeah.
design,
Yeah.
and I think that would have looked really cool.
Yeah. I was expecting that as well. Because I was like, yeah, because I wanted an Apple Watch, right? And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, it's gonna be a new flat design. It's gonna look really cool. I've never really been a fan of the curved thing, but it's so funny. So the ad starts right, and I'm like, oh, that looks pretty curved,
yeah,
and they reveal the full thing, and it's like, yeah, with even more curves. Like this is like even more curvature. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, they've gone opposite to the leaks. I feel
yeah.
like they did it to spite us, but I think that's the only leak that I did see,
Yeah,
and
that was the only
it
one I
didn't
saw
show
as
up.
well.
It didn't. It's only leak from the event that I actually saw, and nothing really came of it.
Yeah,
But
I did have a
uh,
question around that one. Yeah,
mm,
so you saw how they've made it more curved, right,
yeah,
with the screen. Do you think, and they did talk about durability, right?
yeah,
Do you think that's going to be more durable though, considering the whole screen is curved at it just this the whole screen is just curved in the front. What do you think?
Uh, the thing is, I haven't used the old one, so I won't be able to really compare it with that experience. But they claim it's more durable, so and like they even started off the ad with like throwing rocks at it, you know. They're like, okay, this is gonna be the focus
Yeah,
of this ad. They definitely start off their ads with like the main focus for the device. So
yeah,
even with the iPhone, the first thing they show is the cameras. And like, okay, cool, that's
nice.
gonna be the biggest change with the
Yeah,
cameras.
yeah,
And with the watch, it's like, oh, you can now fall down with the watch and it's gonna be okay, basically.
yeah. I
Um,
I think for
yeah.
watches, right, it's very important for it to be
Mm,
durable. Um,
yeah.
One of the things, the reason why I use this Fitbit, right?
Mm,
Uh, One of the reasons is the battery life. It
yeah.
lasts me like 5 days every time, which is
Yeah.
great. And the second thing is, which I'm not sure about Apple because I haven't used Apple Watch before. But the second thing is how durable this is. Like
Yeah.
this, like especially when I'm training or doing some sort of exercise, right?
Yeah.
Um, this gets hit so much with
Mm,
random bars or even sometime wall or something or the other, right? It gets
yeah.
scraped and it seems to survive.
Yeah.
So that's where
Okay.
I have my concerns of buying an Apple Watch.
Mm,
I do want to buy an Apple Watch, but there are a couple of concerns. One is the durability, second,
yeah.
battery life, and third is I don't want to just go all into Apple ecosystem.
Well, so this is your first year with an iPhone. You
iPhone,
got an iPhone last year.
yes. No,
Does
actually, beginning of this year. So
beginning of this year.
Feb, yes.
Yeah. So you got an iPhone, you got the last iPhone, and now there's a new iPhone. Do you feel any like
That
do
I'm
you
missing
feel any
out anything.
FOMO or anything like that?
Actually, I thought I would, right? And this is
Mm,
usually the case when I have a phone and then the new version of that phone comes out.
yeah.
I did. There was a level of FOMO, right? Especially because before this phone, I had a OnePlus, and their cycle was every 6 months instead of every 1 year, right? I
Mm,
used to feel like, oh my God, it's already outdated. I used to
yeah.
hate it. With this one, with the iPhone, I don't feel that. Even though they've changed the name, and I don't understand why they've changed the name. They should have just called it 12S because it was a 12S. It wasn't such a drastic change, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't see myself like feeling like I'm missing out anything.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah.
Because you also
Um
have an iPhone, right?
yeah, I've got iPhone 12. Yeah, there's nothing that would make me feel like, oh man, I'm really missing out. Maybe the new camera, they've got all new cameras,
Yeah.
which I'll have to wait and see how it actually looks. But other than that, I don't know if there's anything that really pulls me to it. The design is pretty much the same. I'm not a big fan of the shiny bezels on the pros, but you know, it is what
Yeah.
it is. I mean,
Wait,
shiny like sides.
do you have Pro right now?
I have pro.
Yeah. Even
And
that has shiny right now, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like until they change that, I won't feel anything towards the any new iPhone.
Yeah.
But the cameras are probably the most interesting part, I think. I
Oh yeah.
don't see any bigger upgrade than that they really pushed, you know?
I think one of the things that I hated about the new ones
Mhm.
was the new colors.
Yeah.
Like they were so much more brighter. I was like, no, no. It just
Yeah.
I feel this midnight blue was much
Mm.
better than whatever bright blue they had. I don't know what the name was.
The new blue color. Yeah,
Mm, it's too
it's a bit
bright.
too light. Yeah, it's a bit too light for me. I
Like
think
I think those colors go well with the iPhone 12, but not with the iPhone 12.
mm,
Oh, sorry, iPhone 13, but not with iPhone 13 Pro, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. Um yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with the design this year. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Interesting that they changed the camera layout for the iPhone 13
Oh yeah.
for like no reason other than just so people know that this is the new iPhone. Like
People
literally, that's
won't
what's
know.
like.
People won't know.
I
People won't
feel like they,
notice.
they they make these small changes and they're like, okay, this is how you show other people that you have the new iPhone because it's
Yeah.
got some small change um
Yeah.
in the
I think
design.
the only thing I was thinking of, like what we're gonna miss out on, would be the cinematic mode. Was the
Yeah,
cinematic mode?
cinematic mode.
What are your thoughts around cinematic mode? Actually wanted to know.
It seems like a fancy autofocus to me.
Yes.
Like that's what I'm getting from that. I mean, maybe I can try it out and see. I don't know if that's a hardware thing. Like, I'm not sure if that can't come on the old
So
iPhones with a software update.
So what I was hearing, right? So it seemed like more of a hardware thing because they kept saying, "Oh, it's based off the sensor, so the camera
Mm,
sensor," and I
yeah,
was like, maybe it's just a hardware thing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I'm not sure how they autofocus on these iPhones. Do they use the hardware? Do they use the software? I know Google uses software, but I think
yeah.
Apple probably still uses
Mm,
hardware around that.
yeah,
Um, I did think about it. I thought it would be a gimmick, but
yeah.
also I feel it might actually work, especially with how TikTok is has become so big.
Mm,
So if they have app integration, right, with
yeah.
that feature, I think it would work really well. If they don't, they're missing out on a big market, and then it
Where,
just becomes a gimmick.
yeah. Where do you think they'll be using TikTok though? Like, what kind of videos?
People.
We're on very different sides of TikTok, you and me. um,
No, but I think some people really like to make aesthetic videos, right? And they, how
mm,
they
yeah,
either have like story time, or they'll talk about, they'll try to show like some sort of sketch, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's where it would really shine.
Mm. Yeah, I guess if you're trying to focus on different things, show
Yeah,
different um, kind of aspects of a scene. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, speaking of video and shot on iPhone, did you what is your take on the whole iPhones being used in cinema and movie making,
I
all
think it's
that?
misleading. I think it's
Yeah.
misleading. I think I don't know if you've seen behind the scenes around this stuff, but they
Oh
use
yeah.
a lot of hardware on top of iPhone. So they'll use like different lenses, different things to get that shot on iPhone, and they don't
Yeah.
show the raw footage as well. They edit it out. They show it in a way that it's very manipulative.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this is a bit of a meme, right? Like all
Yes.
this massive rig around the iPhone.
Yeah.
I was trying to, I don't know how, like, if any of these are the official shot on iPhone, rigs, but
Yeah.
this might just be people making a meme out of it. But it's just interesting
Yeah.
that they even in the thing where they're saying, oh, you can use an iPhone to make cinematic videos.
Yeah.
And even in that, they had so much other
They had
equipment around them.
exactly. It was
And
like big
it's like,
rigs, and then the thing is, there was lighting, so they
yeah,
changed the lighting accordingly. It has to.
mm,
It's very manipulative. Like you
yeah,
cannot get cinematic level of videos. Like iPhone cameras are great. Videos are great on iPhone. Like it's probably the best in all the phones, right?
yeah,
But I think it's very manipulative to say that it can take cinematic level of videos, because it
yeah,
just can't. It just
yeah,
can't unless you spend about 10,000 around just the equipments.
yeah. Then it kind of makes it,
It's
what's the
like
point? Like, just get a camera at that
just get
point.
a proper camera, yeah. Get
Yeah,
a red camera and go ahead and shoot all the stuff
yeah,
instead of
yeah.
using an iPhone. Um,
Mm.
yeah,
The video that they showed
yeah,
uh, kind of remind me of Knives Out. I don't know if you've seen that. It was
yeah,
a nice video.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm definitely wondering how much, background equipment they had
yeah,
to kind of set that up. It looked good though.
yeah.
Um,
One
yeah.
of the other things that I saw in iPhone was the refresh rate on
Oh
the
yes,
13 Pro.
finally,
Finally, yes. It
120.
it was it's so sad that iPhone still doesn't have this as a standard,
Mm,
uh, because pretty much all the competition, right, has had this for about 2 3 years.
yeah,
And this is, I think we're getting to a point. I I remember Apple was doing this thing, right, where they would get things right
yeah.
before, instead of getting ahead of the competition.
Mm,
But do you feel at right, especially right now, yeah, Apple is sort of falling behind instead of actually, because when they catch up, right, they're not
yeah.
doing something special.
Mm.
Do you think they're falling behind
Um,
to the
with
competition?
this, I feel like they were late. Like it's not like they released this new version of,
Yeah,
refresh rate that's anything special. But I think they pick what they want to be ahead in.
yeah,
They pick and they're like, okay, let's go all in on, let's have all our own hardware because
yeah.
that's just going to improve, the experience for the whole kind of pipeline. And there, I feel like they're ahead because now everyone else is trying to make their own silicon.
Oh
Everyone
yeah,
else is trying to,
yeah,
do what Apple did first in that case because it just made all this stuff so much more efficient. Um,
yeah. I
but
think
there's
in
other things
terms
with,
of
yeah,
chip, 100% they're way ahead of the competition. I think Google's gonna come out with their Whitechapel chip, right? That's
yeah,
being rumored, or they've announced it actually. Uh, but I don't think it's gonna be anywhere close to the Apple chip, and
yeah,
even the new Snapdragons, not
yeah,
even close. I don't
yeah.
see it being close to it.
I feel like they know what they can get away with,
Mm.
and it's like 120 hertz is not something like it's something that I would have to explain to someone who wasn't like super into tech.
But
Whereas,
have you ever actually seen the 120 hertz
I mean, they've got
phones
it on
and
the
tablet?
iPad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, like, it's noticeable, but because we don't use other people's phones and stuff that much, it's
mm,
not going to be like, oh, I feel like I'm missing out. You just don't know that there's this better experience out there.
yeah.
Um, so that's why it's like, okay, we can hold off on this, but let's work on. They know what they're good at. They know where they can, like I feel like they're ahead in a lot of things. Like they basically
Yeah.
have a monopoly on tablets. Their
Still,
watches are the only well-known watches.
yeah. I think
Um,
tablets and watches,
yeah,
I think nobody even comes close to them.
yeah.
Um, the other thing that I was gonna say is no USB-C yet.
Ah, I have a theory about this. Okay, hear
Okay.
me out. Here's my theory
Yeah.
on the ports. So they
Yeah.
put USB-C on the iPad Mini, which I
They've
think
put it
makes
on all
sense.
iPads, right? They've already
Yeah,
done it
all
on all
iPads.
iPads.
I don't need except for that other iPad,
The
which we don't
iPad
talk
that
about.
came out
It's
today.
okay.
Mm.
Yeah. But so I feel like USB-C is gonna stay
Yep.
for iPad.
Yep.
I feel like they're going towards portless for iPhone, so they don't care about switching ports, a few
Yep.
versions
Yep.
before they make that switch to nothing. I think they're going all in on MagSafe for iPhone, and that's why I think they're not gonna put USB-C ever on iPhone.
I think it's gonna be really sucky though. Compare,
Yeah.
because what they're gonna do is they're gonna remove they've already removed the charging bricks.
Yep.
They'll remove the cable as well, and then
Mm.
you'll have to just buy both of them separate to the iPhone. So the only thing you're gonna get with the phone is gonna be the iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like if they move to MagSafe, they should give you the MagSafe charger with it. But I don't know if they're gonna do that.
They're not. They're not. Um, yeah, it's just sad because
Yeah.
this is the issue, right? Apple says they're so environmentally friendly, right?
Mm.
And the whole concept behind this change that they did last year was, oh, we want, because everybody has these bricks. No, people
Yeah.
didn't have that brick because you uh, changed your bricks from USB A to USB C.
Mm. Yeah.
Uh, I know I didn't have one. I had to buy one
Yeah,
when I
because
bought
you've
the
just got the
iPhone.
cable now, and you don't have the USB-C kind of port on your
Yeah,
brick, right? Yeah,
yeah, because people just don't have that. People have the older one, which is the
yeah,
USB-A one, but you're
yeah.
giving the cable for USB-C. So that means you're getting more money on peripherals, right? You
Mm,
have increased the carbon footprint. You're saying you haven't, but you have. You
yeah,
have to box all these
the bricks.
bricks, all
Yeah,
these charging bricks, and give it out to people, and it's just increasing the level of mess. So you're
yeah,
not making it better, and
yeah.
you've outdated all the old bricks, so that means more into waste.
Mm, yeah, true. Yeah, I feel like it was an afterthought. They're like, oh, we need to find a reason to say that, this, and they were like, okay, we're going to be environmentally friendly. That's why we're not, giving you the brick.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I
Speaking of peripherals, very funny moment. So they're talking about
yep
MagSafe
yep.
accessories, and they've got the wallet, which last year everyone was like, this thing is it's not strong enough. The magnet's not strong enough. It's
It's
gonna fall
not.
off.
Yes.
And now they've had to add Find My to the wallet in case you drop it.
Oh my God. Yeah, and so when the iPhone 12 announcement happened, right, last year, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. The MagSafe thing is amazing. I'm gonna buy this wallet for sure.
Yeah,
Uh, I went to the store, checked it out, and it just wasn't strong enough. It kept falling. I'm
yeah,
like, what if I'm like trying to put the phone back into my pocket and
yeah,
the wallet just falls off? I don't want to lose my wallet, so I'm not buying this
yeah,
off. It's just still
yeah.
no point. Um,
It's hilarious that it's called MagSafe.
yeah.
That's so funny, and it's just gonna fall off, and you're gonna lose it. But it's cool. They put the Find My, so I guess. But yeah,
But still,
very funny
like,
moment.
yeah, I think I still think MagSafe is pretty good. I like the whole concept around MagSafe
Mm,
over the wireless chargers. I don't know
yeah,
about you, but yeah, I think MagSafe is better than wireless chargers because I do like, so let's say when at night, right? Sometimes I
yeah,
just want to watch something while watching,
mm,
like watch some videos before sleeping. So
yeah,
I just want to connect it to the cable instead of I'm not gonna keep it on the wireless charger. Instead of
yeah.
that, now we have MagSafe, which we just slap it on the back,
Mm.
and we can just
And you
watch
can,
things.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can still hold. Yeah, yeah.
So
That's what you've just promoted for me. Now I kind of want it. You know.
Apple should
Uh,
hire me for marketing, yeah.
yeah, definitely.
But
Um,
I'll criticize the crap out of them though.
yeah, that's how we know you're telling the truth.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I have a criticism for one of the ads that they
Yep.
did. So they did the Apple did this, Apple Fitness Plus ad. And it
Oh
was
yeah.
really good. It was a good ad, to be honest,
Yep.
like up until the end. But basically, in the ad, it's like very inclusive. It's very like, this club is for everyone. Anyone can join. Don't worry, um, we'll welcome you. This is a community. There's no pass. You don't need a card to get in. They said something along those lines. And I was
Yep.
like, oh yeah, this is very nice. Like they're inviting me in. Anyone can join. And then they're like, oh, but you need an Apple Watch. So if you got an Apple Watch, come join us. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yep.
what's the point? And it was so ironic. I'm still
Yep.
gonna get Apple Watch though, but like, I mean,
Are you
they
getting
got me.
one? Are you getting one?
Yeah, I mean that was that. I mean that's the one thing I was looking forward to in the event,
Yeah.
because I want Apple Watch. The reason why I wanted either Apple Watch or iPad,
Mm.
um, but I feel like iPad for me right now, there's nothing that I can't do in my
Yeah.
life, that iPad will add. Whereas I want to do a bunch of fitness stuff,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
feel like Apple Watch is really good for that. They
Yeah.
showed a lot of really cool kind of sports and features, tracking features, in that they had the
Yeah.
tennis swing, the golf swing. They
It was
had,
really good. Yeah.
that was pretty
So
impressive. I didn't know they
I
could do
think
that.
I think after watching that ad, right, the
Mm.
Apple Watch ad, I was I'm a bit confused right now because I need to buy a new watch as well, and I'm either looking at Fitbit or Apple Watch.
Yeah,
Um, Fitbit, just because I have my history saved in Fitbit,
Mm,
and I think like it works fine for me,
yeah.
and especially the battery life. I love the battery life on Fitbit. I
Mm,
don't think Apple watches can match that. But on the other hand, I know the way Apple integrates things with
yeah.
the iPhone.
Yeah.
The Apple Watch is integrated so well with the iPhone that um, I might just buy the Apple Watch as
Mm,
well. Um, I also need to buy an AirPod Pro, so that's the next purchase. So I'm gonna do
yeah.
that, and once
I'm
I
waiting for
have
the
that, yeah,
I'm waiting for the next iteration of AirPod Pros.
yeah, I'm just a bit concerned as well. If I buy the Apple Watch, right, they're gonna try
Mm,
to pull me into their own ecosystem. So it'd be like the Fitness Plus, right? You've heard about the
yeah.
Fitness Plus. That's probably integrated well with the Apple Music, and I use Spotify. I
Yeah.
am not gonna move from Spotify, and
Yeah.
it just makes me concerned that, oh, if I do shift to their platform, right, I
Mm,
will be forced to buy their product, so they're
yeah.
subscription based items, and I
Yeah.
don't want to do that. I want the freedom to move as well. Uh,
Mm,
one of the one of the things, like when I moved to the iPhone this year,
yeah.
uh, I hated so the transition from Android to Apple was easy, very
Yeah.
straightforward,
Yeah.
but I know there's not, like, it's going to be so hard to transition from iPhone to an Android
Yeah.
phone
Yeah.
because they just don't provide the support to actually shift all the items from your iPhone to the Android phone.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. That's true. No,
And
they want you in that ecosystem.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're really good at locking you in to that
Yeah.
ecosystem.
I'm gonna I'm gonna say something you don't like, but
Yeah.
you got the iPhone. I think you're in. Like once you get the iPhone, I feel like it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be an uphill battle for you to not kind of just submit and
I
well,
know it's a bit tough. Yeah, 100%. I don't know if I will be able to shift to Android, and that's
yeah.
really hard for me. Like, I've made sure with the iPhone, right, as much as possible, I'm not using Apple services. So I don't use the Safari. I use Chrome
Mm,
instead. All my history saved into different accounts. I'm not using Apple Music. I have my Spotify. Um, the other thing was the photos. I make sure all my photo gets backed up to Google Photos as well.
yeah.
So I'm trying to make sure that if I have to move, the
Yeah.
transition would be a lot easier than the way usual consumer would use.
Yeah.
Also, if you see my iPhone screen over here,
Mm-hmm.
you see that Google widget on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Okay, well, leads me to a different question then, because
yes,
you don't want to be in the Apple ecosystem, but I
yeah.
feel like you're fully ingrained in the Google ecosystem. Like,
So the thing with Google is, right, and this is where the difference comes in.
mm,
A good example was the whole Tile situation. I don't know if you've heard about this. What happened with Tile, especially after the what was Find My, what was the tag called?
AirTags?
AirTag, yes, AirTag
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out. I don't know if you heard the situation. What happened with Tile?
No. So Tile is the other kind of
Yeah,
tracking
yeah.
tag thing.
So
Yeah,
they've been there for the longest time. They had their
yeah.
own ecosystem. They had their own maps where they
Mm-hmm.
would present all these tiles, right? Apple has basically asked them to move to their system, their ecosystem. So the
Mm,
Find My ecosystem is where you'll see all the iPhones. You can see the air tags and all that stuff. They've asked them that, hey, we have our own ecosystem,
mm,
and they'll slowly push the other ecosystems out with the policies they'll change within
mm.
their app store. Uh, and Apple is infamous to deny uh, changes that goes against their policies, right, on the
Yeah,
app store.
yeah,
uh, Basically, this slowly forcing Tile, so instead of using their own platform that they had created, right, to
yeah,
jump onto this Find My ecosystem
yeah.
for Apple,
Mm,
and it just becomes a monopoly. And that's
yeah.
where I hate this is what I hate about Apple, and I don't want to support that
Mm,
practice.
yeah,
Even with Spotify, right? The reason why I would still use Spotify is because I'll have the freedom to move between platforms. Um,
yeah,
with Google platforms, right? The best part is they don't lock you in. Like you
yeah,
have the freedom to move out. With
yeah.
Apple platform, the issue is you can't move out. It's so tough to move
Mm,
out. With
yeah,
Google, they allow you to move out if you need help, because I think Google is more of a service. So they earn more from services than the
yeah,
hardware,
yeah,
whereas Apple earns more from their hardware than their services.
yeah.
Uh, I can
Yeah,
see
Google
that.
has the
Yeah,
Google lets you like download all your data. Like you can archive a whole account and get basically everything in your
exactly.
account, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I think hardware is just it's sort of like a side thing for Google.
Yeah,
Their predominant focus is their services,
yeah.
whereas Apple is just they want people to be locked into their hardware.
Mm.
Um, the other thing I would say is, have you noticed that Apple is trying to move into services as well?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like everything they've been pushing hard. I feel like they pushed really hard for Apple TV Plus.
Mm.
Like they've got
Yeah,
so much star power in this new upcoming like
I see
I
that,
guess
but would
season.
you get the Apple TV Plus?
Okay, so I have had it for like a year
Yeah.
because I'm on like a family plan, but I haven't watched anything on it because it was very bare at the start. Um,
Yep.
I think now there's more stuff, and like it looks interesting. They even had like Jon Stewart on, which he's been off the air for so long, and everyone loves that guy. So they're putting
Yeah.
a lot of effort into this.
Yeah, they're spending a lot of money, clearly, even
Yeah.
on production, right? Like today's
Mm.
advertisement that they showed around the Apple TV Plus, they're
Yeah.
putting a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
But I'm still skeptical. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna take a while for them to
Yeah. I don't think they're
really
making a
take
lot of
over.
money from that right now
Yeah, they
compared to
won't.
the other streaming services.
Yeah,
I feel like Disney for me has the most promise when it comes to streaming services right now.
yeah. The thing is,
Um,
they have such a archive, right, of all
yeah,
this
they have the
stuff.
content.
Yeah, so they've bought Fox, right? So that means that includes all the Fox TV shows and
Mm,
all the movies by Fox.
yeah,
All of that can be put into Disney Plus, and I think that's where that acquisition, right, was a major thing, because Disney Plus will survive because of that acquisition.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be really tough for Apple to break through this one,
Mm,
unless they go ahead and buy Netflix, right? Which
yeah.
which could happen, which could really happen.
I
There
don't know.
were
Does
rumors in the
Apple
middle.
buy a lot of companies? Like who's Apple
Uh,
bought? They bought Beats, which is the only one that I'm aware
I
of.
think Beats is the biggest one they've bought, and
Yeah.
that was to get the Apple Music platform running, right? So they had the
Okay.
Beats One radio, so they didn't
Yeah.
care about the hardware. They
Yeah.
were already doing fine with the hardware.
Mm,
The reason behind that buyout, right,
yeah.
was for the Beats One radio,
Yeah.
and they wanted to integrate that to the Apple Music and
Mm,
get that going. So,
yeah.
and
Okay.
that's where I can see like Apple actually trying to buy another company out for the Apple
Mm,
TV Plus if it doesn't do well.
yeah. Yeah. Apple just doesn't like other companies. That's what I think. Like they love roasting. Apple loves roasting. I think it comes from like the Steve Jobs times. They love
Yeah.
roasting other companies. Every
Yeah.
keynote, every event, there's always,
So
so many jabs
so one
at
of the
other
things, right,
companies.
I would say is during Steve Jobs' time,
Yeah.
he the way he used to roast, it would he would actually back it up, right?
Mm,
Now the way Apple roast, there's an asterisk to it, I would
yeah.
say. Like they claim this, right? But there's a major asterisk where like, okay, but they do this or the
Mm,
something or the other. Like there's
yeah.
always a major asterisk now, which is where I feel like Apple is still running off what Steve Jobs sort of created, like the
Yeah.
base that he created.
Mm.
Um, yeah. Even though I've heard like Steve Jobs wasn't the best person to be around, he was very bossy. He was,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
but I still feel like Apple sort of owes the success to him.
Yeah, definitely. He's yeah, I mean he made the company. It still kind of lives on.
Yeah. Now, but the
Or
thing
he lives
is,
on in it.
yeah, I just look at the products, right? And I just don't see any new product that was announced that was as big as the products that he announced.
Mm,
iPhone, be it iPad, be it Mac, MacBooks, right?
yeah.
Uh, Apple hasn't come out with a product that has done the same numbers.
Mm,
Like
okay.
iPhone is still doing numbers, but it's based off what
Yeah.
he started, right?
Yeah. Um yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Like there's not a lot of new, you know,
Categories.
yeah.
But that's the
Um
thing, right? We're saying this, right? But
yeah.
Apple, when during Steve Jobs time, was
Mm,
known to create these new categories. The whole
yeah.
smartphone industry changed because
Mm,
Apple did that.
yeah.
The whole tablet industry started because of Apple.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, so that's where I'm like, these industries, yeah, we're definitely aware that we're not having new products, right? But Apple
Yeah.
was famous to do that. Like they used to create a new
Mm,
product and they would make it massive.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they haven't done anything that no one has done. When the
Uh,
Apple Watch came out, was that the first smartwatch or no?
I
Probably
don't
not.
think so. But the thing
Yeah.
is, the other ones were really shit ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think
Um,
I think the Apple Watch is probably the best watch out
new.
there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't think there's good competition, and I don't think it does that many
Mm.
numbers. It's still not up there.
I think you'd be surprised. I feel like there's a lot of people that I think it's overpriced,
It is.
but
It is.
I think there's a lot of people that want or like I can't imagine someone with like a Samsung phone that's like, oh man, I'd really love a Samsung watch to accompany this. But when you've got an
Yep.
iPhone, it almost just makes sense to want
Yep.
an Apple Watch. But
Yeah. I think that's where the power of integration comes in from Apple
mm,
again. I think the level of integration that's with iPhone, right? And iPhone being one of the biggest phones in the world,
yeah,
it makes sense. Again, you wouldn't buy, so you would buy a tablet, let's say an iPad, without having
yeah,
an iPhone, but you can't um, buy a watch without the iPhone,
yeah,
Apple
yeah,
Watch without the iPhone.
mm,
And this is where I'm really looking at Google right now. It's like,
yeah,
are they gonna release a watch? Because I think they should. They really should
mm,
because they can integrate it well. Uh,
yeah,
they still haven't done it. They still have done a very sloppy job around it,
mm,
but they really should. They have the power to actually uh, compete with Apple. That's the only
yeah,
company that can compete with Apple. I don't see
100%.
Samsung competing with it because
In terms
Samsung,
of the watches,
yeah, with the watches, just
yeah,
because it doesn't have the developers backing it up.
mm, yeah, yeah,
But Google has that power. They can actually
yeah,
make sure that it's being backed up by the developers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I feel like, yeah, I still don't have a big standout from this whole event. Maybe I guess iPad Mini. iPad Mini was good.
Yeah, that was the only good
The
one I saw.
and just the honestly, just the production of the event was very good. Transitions were amazing. Apple,
Yes.
I feel like they
I think
put
they
more
nailed
effort than
it.
anyone else.
Yeah.
There was a really good transition for the iPhone Pro
Yep.
where it like turned from the phone camera bumps into I think the Apple Campus. Well,
Yes. Yes.
anyway,
Yes. I remember that one. Yeah. Yeah.
that was very
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, I just don't see this kind of effort in other companies' announcements. I mean,
Yeah.
Samsung had theirs like maybe a month or two ago.
I think
Um,
Google might get there sooner rather than later if they
yeah,
focus more on hardware.
yeah,
And by the looks of it, they might actually do that.
Mm.
considering they are releasing the new Pixel sooner rather than later, and it's gonna have its own hardware, own chipset as well,
Yeah.
and even Google I/Os. Like I like Google I/Os. I really
Yeah.
enjoy watching them because
Mm.
it's actually pretty insightful.
Yeah.
So I think Google can, but
Yeah.
none of the other companies are even close. Maybe actually I've heard Xiaomi, right? In
Yeah.
China and stuff, it does really well, Huawei
Mm.
and Xiaomi,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
again, not
Yeah.
not for
It's very
us.
hard to break out of there, I
Yeah,
think. Or break.
uh,
It's very hard to break out of China or break into China, really,
yeah,
as a
yeah,
company.
yeah,
A lot of like rules and stuff around that.
yeah. I think.
But
Sorry, what do you
is
say?
there, let's say you didn't have a new phone, like
Hmm.
from recently.
Yep.
After this announcement, would this be your phone of choice, or would there be another phone that you're like,
With
nah,
the
you think it's probably better?
current phones that we have,
Yeah.
I think I would buy the iPhone
Yeah.
just because. So I think you know the history, but I'll just say it again. Uh, I I used to love OnePlus. Yeah, I was a big
Mm.
OnePlus fan before buying this iPhone 12 Pro. Uh, yeah, OnePlus was my phone of choice always, but I think they just it just wasn't the same. Like the last few
Mm.
releases, right, just haven't been the same. Uh, we expect something, especially at the price that we were paying at that point.
Yeah.
Uh, we I was expecting more out of the camera,
Yeah.
because camera is just one thing, right? Like
Mm.
I still like taking photos. I want to take
Yeah.
photos, and I don't want to be limited to the fact that, oh, my phone doesn't have a good camera.
Yeah.
And any other phone that I saw, Samsung, I wouldn't buy because of the bloatware. Pixel, um, uh, considering the new Pixel isn't out yet, uh,
Yeah.
the other Pixels, right? They just weren't a flagship Pixel. Like they were
Yeah.
just weren't flagship phones anymore. So
Mm.
I wouldn't buy a Pixel. Uh, so OnePlus was my phone of choice because of how vanilla the Android was,
Yeah.
but their hardware was just not
Mm.
catching up, and
Yeah.
and especially at the price that we were paying for that, not
Mm.
not
Yeah.
worth it.
OnePlus started off like you could excuse the hardware because the price is very cheap,
Yeah,
but then they kept on increasing the price, and without really,
yeah,
hardware wasn't getting that much better. So yeah.
yeah. Plus, I think I don't know what's up with Android phones right now,
Mm.
but you know how iPhone has the Pro model and then the 13, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and both of them are made really well, the glass and metal, right? But I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on with Android phones. What they're doing is they have the Pro model,
Yeah.
which is made with good materials, right? And then we
Mm.
have the standard model, which is made with plastic. That's like,
Yeah.
why would I do that when we
Mm.
have an iPhone, which is
Yeah.
considerably cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it has good quality, and it has the latest chip as well. You're putting
Yeah.
a weaker chip, and your design well, it's just not up to mark anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I wouldn't buy anything else right now but iPhone.
Mm.
But
No Z Flip,
no,
no Samsung Fold.
I would say Z Flip is a pretty good phone, and I would recommend it to people because
It's
of.
pretty good.
Yeah, I
Like
would say
the
it's a really good for the price and for what they're
mm,
giving out, right? I wouldn't personally buy it because it just wouldn't be a pro level phone.
yeah.
I think I have a very high usage of my phone. I probably do
Yeah.
most of my items from my phone, which is
Yeah.
surprising because I should probably be doing it on my laptop, but I'll do it off my phone. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Mm.
think it's a good phone.
I feel like that one has a lot of promise. Like I
Mm.
feel like next year's version, if they
Yeah,
keep on, improving at the rate they're improving,
yeah.
because
Like
even this one is good.
this
Like
year's
this one is a
so
usable
good.
phone. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Um,
if if people would ask me what phone to buy, I would recommend that phone. If
like
they
if it wasn't an if you were
if
to
it
recommend
wasn't the
something that's not
iPhone,
an iPhone.
yes,
Yeah.
100%. No, even if people want something cool and new, right? And even if they
Yeah.
ask me about iPhone or that one, I would recommend that
Mm.
one. Uh,
Yeah.
just because it's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that in smartphones. It's getting very stale at this moment with the smartphone
Mm.
industry. It's pretty much the
Yeah.
same thing. All phones are coming out like a glass sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Uh, it's pretty much the same thing. The next one that I'm excited for is gonna be the Google Pixel. I feel
Oh,
once Pixel is out, I think my answer would change to the Pixel
okay.
itself, Pixel Pro.
Do
Uh,
you like the look of the new Pixel?
I do. I'm
You
not gonna
do?
lie. I
I
actually
don't
do
know.
like.
I'm very torn about the look
Really?
of this new Pixel. It's yeah, I don't know.
I think it's just. I think I'm bored of the same design throughout the industry. Like every
Mm,
phone right now is a glass sandwich with metal on the sides, right? This is
yeah.
the same thing, and I feel like it's such an outdated design now, considering it's
Mm,
been done for so many years and it's been done pretty much by every single phone out there.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think Pixel's gonna be good. Uh,
Yeah. Is it gonna
one
be like flagship level, or do you think they're gonna just do another cheap one?
Oh no, so they will have two versions. By the looks of it, they'll have two versions.
Mm,
So one's gonna be the standard one, and then the other one's gonna be the pro one. I'm gonna
yeah.
say the
Yeah.
pro one is the one that I
Mm,
really like,
okay.
especially with all the designs that have leaked out. Google is terrible with their leaks, like everything leaks out before time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, um,
It, I feel like there was one event, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where nothing was new. Like nothing was not
eh,
leaked from what they announced.
both last 2 years, both of them.
Yeah.
It was the same exact thing. And yeah, even this time, right? Google just came in forefront and like, you know what? Here we go. We're just announcing it that this is the next
Oh
Pixel.
yeah, before the actual event itself, because they're like, yeah, everything's yeah. Like they could
Kind of
literally
leaked
just be
out.
like, yeah, the leaks are right, and just leave, and that's the end of the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, the other thing I was gonna ask you, uh, 5G, right?
Mm,
Apple, I think especially last year, put
yeah.
a lot of emphasis on 5G. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts around like 5G and what do you think? Do you think 5G is gonna be the new wave?
I mean, it's just a standard, right? Like it's not. I don't see it as anything special as a feature. It's not like they made 5G.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, okay, yeah, you should have 5G. That's you're a phone, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna credit them too much about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think with 4G, I remember there was so much hype compared to 5G.
Yeah.
There's like a massive difference with the hype. But
Mm,
I think with time that should just change. And yeah, 5G had to come. And I think in next 4 or 5 years, I expect 6G to be there. It
yeah.
should be a
Yeah. It's
standard thing.
just.
Don't make
Mm,
such a big deal. That's what I was saying. Like
yeah.
with Apple, right? They made such a big deal last year about 5G. But again, 5G will only matter when carriers sort of get it to different countries and you
Yeah.
actually have 5G available.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But yeah, I think it's good that they have it, but like they should have it. They're supposed to be, they claim to be the best phone.
yeah,
They should be, they should do the things that phones do. So, you
yes,
know,
yes, definitely. Yeah, uh, I think
yeah.
that's all I had from myself here. Anything?
Honestly, same.
Yeah,
I think that's all I've got. Yeah,
yeah.
good
I
chat.
guess
Do you have any other off topic, things you've been thinking about or anything like that?
no, not for this episode. We'll have more
This episode.
episodes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, feel free to subscribe depending on what platform you're on. But yeah, that's it.
100% do your thing. I think it's very cool that we forgot to give our names, but it's all good. You find
Yes.
out in the next episode. Stay tuned to find out who we are in the next episode.